2:31, an adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by notice sent to the Asbury Park Press, Two River Times, and Star Ledger, both the main lobby of the municipal building and on the municipal website. Please rise to the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of
the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call.
Councilman Dean?
Here.
Councilman Tridiano?
Here.
Councilman Ballard? Councilman Mainstream?
Here.
Councilman Zipridge?
Here.
Councilman Horgan? Here.
Michael, I hope you're feeling better. I know you've got some medical issues tonight, so we hope you get better real fast. I think some of us at this table have had some similar problems this weekend, but hope you get better, okay?
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Can you hear us, by the way? Okay, good. So for proclamations, this evening we have Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month. Oh, great. I'm sorry. Okay, do we have anybody here from Women's History Month? How about Poison Prevention Week? I presume nobody wants to be here.
I believe Abby and I can step in for Women's History Month.
I think you could. Who wants to step in for Poison Month? I think Tommy Welsh is here.
Yeah, I think that's not going to happen.
All right, so the borough's proclamation is obviously a very serious issue, and something that needs a little bit more public input on an ongoing basis in all of our communities. But at least Red Bank is the host to a major medical facility, and so consequently we try to recognize and be proactive in terms of disseminating information. So whereas colorectal cancer is the second leading cause of cancer deaths in the United States among men and women combined, and whereas 1 in 23 Americans will be diagnosed with this cancer in their lifetime, 1 in 5 of those will be diagnosed before the age of 55, and whereas the American Cancer Society recommends that screening for colon and rectal cancer should begin at age 45 for average risk individuals, and whereas there are now more than 1 million survivors of colorectal cancer in the United States, and whereas the national goal established by the National Colorectal Cancer Roundtable is 80% of Americans ages 50 and older be screened in every community, and whereas the majority of people in the United States age 45 or older were screened regularly for colorectal cancer, half of all cases could be prevented entirely. And whereas it's critical that all people of all ages know the signs and symptoms of the disease, and whereas observing a colorectal cancer awareness month during the month of March will provide a special opportunity to offer education on the importance of early detection and screening. Now, therefore, I, Paul, Madam Mayor of the Borough of Red Bank, do hereby proclaim March 2019 as Colorectal Cancer Awareness Month in the Borough of Red Bank, and urge all of our residents over 50 to be screened for colorectal cancer. So I'm going to invite representatives to please come up and offer a few remarks if you wish. And I just want to add, you know, we're all afraid of it. It really doesn't hurt. We should all do it.
So colon cancer is largely a preventable disease. There's early screening and prevention. Currently in New Jersey, only 65% of people of appropriate age are getting screened. The goal from the American Cancer Society is to get that up to 80% by the year 2020, and we're actively encouraging people to continue to, spreading the word. And it's an easy test, and it's a preventable disease.
It doesn't hurt.
It's fine.
Get it done.
I have, 2 times.
Thank you for all the work that all of you do. It's a message that, is not easy to get out, but perhaps the greatest fear we all have is fear of the unknown. And so if we can get over that fear, we'll all be a lot healthier and better off, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
We also have, is somebody going to be here later today?
No.
Okay, so we have proclaimed the other 2. So let's just go on. For public comments, any members of the public have any comment on anything on the established agenda only? Nothing? All right, motion to close. Second? All in favor? Okay, we now have the River Center presentation. Mr. Scavone. This is for the 2019 budget.
They're not working.
They're not working?
No, they're not working. I'm trying to record.
Jim, you could just go on one of those little side things.
Thank you, Mayor. So the budget was prepared again by the Finance Committee of River Center and approved by our Board of Directors at the February 27th meeting. So we are presenting it tonight to Mayor and Council for your approval. So in the budget for 2019, we are proposing an assessment of $538,120. This is the assessment on commercial property owners in the defined district. Thank you. Just to give you a little bit of context, for 2018, the assessment was $532,120, so we're proposing a $6,000 increase to the assessment for 2019. In 2008, the assessment was $624,000, and in 2009, it was lowered to $512,000 when the economic crisis hit. So even with our increase to $538,000, we are still not at the level that we were back in 2008. Is there a Trixie?
Page down.
There we go. Okay. Just to review where that $538,000 is spent, $167,000 of it, a little over $167,000, goes to administrative and overhead. And then it does contain $27,350 in debt service. That is for the Monmouth Street streetscape that was completed about 15 years ago. This is the final payment for that debt service, so that debt service will be coming off of the budget in 2020. And then the remainder of the money is divided between several programs. We take $134,000 of that to pay for our program staffing. 37, almost 38,000 goes into promotional events. 6,000 goes into other marketing efforts, and in a minute I'll talk about how we raise additional funds to increase our marketing efforts. 15,750 goes toward business recruitment. We fund the visitor center at $50,000. We do the horticulture program in the spring through the fall, and that's $15,750. Maintenance and cleaning is $5,250. That's basically litter control, sidewalk cleaning. Holiday decorations is $64,000. Parking initiatives is $4,500, and then outreach and communications is $87.50. So when you add the programs, the debt service, and the admin and overhead together, that brings us to our total of $538,120. Just a quick word on some of the specific programs. The money this year, a portion of it is being dedicated to go toward implementing our strategic plan goals and objectives. We completed our strategic plan at the end of last year, and I'll touch on that in a minute. I'll get a little more specific on that. Our business recruitment efforts, we will continue to attract businesses to Red Bank through advertising, access to business subscription services, attendance at recruitment trade shows, and personal outreach. We continue to dedicate funds, increase funds to increase our marketing and public relations efforts. And specifically, we're focusing this year, as we have been the past few years, on digital marketing, social media, everything on the web, while continuing our traditional marketing programs. As far as infrastructure and design, this includes holiday decorations, the annual horticulture program, maintenance of the benches in town, an increase in hours for part-time employees for litter control. We are increasing the hours this year that we put into that, and then parking initiatives and wayfinding. And finally, outreach and communications. Communication services includes multimodal communication efforts to keep businesses and property owners informed. Member services include quarterly member meetings as well as an annual meeting, along with outreach efforts to the Red Bank-based organizations. And we do a lot of community outreach efforts as well. And finally, as I mentioned before, we fund the visitor center. I always think it's important to note that we leverage the assessment to raise additional funds. These funds are raised through sponsorships and program participation fees, through fundraising efforts such as the Oyster Festival, through grant funding that we received, Monmouth Arts. We have a grant from Monmouth Arts this year, and we have some other grants that have come in, and we're waiting to hear on some others. We do cooperative advertising with local businesses so that we can combine our advertising dollars for the best bang for our buck. And we raise money through our partnership with Riverview Medical Center with parking permits, providing parking spaces for employees of Red Bank businesses. These additional funds go directly into marketing and promotional programs. I mentioned our strategic plan, and I just want to touch on the goals that we'll be working on this year. Just a word to say that not all these goals will be achieved and finished this year, but we will start working on these goals. And the strategic plan is a 5-year plan, so there are a lot more goals to come in years 2 through 5. So I'll just quickly go through some of the goals that we're going to be working on this year with that money from the assessment. We're going to enhance the effectiveness of River Center operations, improve communication within the business district and then with the larger Red Bank community, support the organizational, physical, and promotional development of the Transit Village. We've been working with Glenn Carter and Z and the rest of the borough staff to try to bring that to fruition.
create and educate a River Center Business Development Committee that will help with our business recruitment efforts. Expand our arts-related business efforts. Encourage the growth of the restaurant and dining sector, and support property owner efforts to reduce and minimize vacancies. We also are going to get into some different marketing strategies. One is to define physical boundaries of sub-districts within the overall River Center district. That would include like the Arts District, the Riverfront District, the different areas around town. We want to work with the borough to implement the elements of the 2018 parking study. Enhance Red Bank's image as a clean district. One of the things we learned when we did our perception survey was that people outside of Red Bank view Red Bank as being very clean and very safe. People inside Red Bank from the 07701 zip code have a different perception. They don't view it to be quite as clean or quite as safe. So we want to work on enhancing that image and making sure that our district is always clean and safe. We need to expand our image as an arts destination, enhance our image as a dining and retail destination, and improve the character and quality of riverfront events, and develop an integrated marketing campaign specific to the Central Business District. Just a note about some of our community outreach efforts. In 2018, we donated over $30,000 in cash and or Red Bank gift cards to local charities, and there's a long list of them there. And we plan to continue that charitable giving in 2019. Mostly this is through either the International Festival or the Oyster Festival or our gift card program. And that's it. Are there any questions?
You mentioned just something that I sort of was confused. You said River Center funds the tourist office.
The visitor center, yes.
Visitor Center. My recollection is that former Governor Corzine enacted many years ago the tourist pillow tax. So we do have a hotel, 2 hotels in town, and a specific amount of the fare every single night goes to the state for the pillow tax, which then reimburses that money to the borough of Red Bank, but it's specifically allocated for tourism events. So are you saying that River Center funds monies in addition to the pillow tax that the borough gives you?
My understanding, Mayor, and this predates me, so forgive me, but my understanding from the people at the visitor center is that they no longer receive that money from the state through the borough. So River Center, I can tell you that River Center has in our budget a $50,000 line item that we turn over to the visitor center.
That's correct.
My understanding is, and that money comes from the assessment. My understanding is the visitor center does not receive any other additional funds, but I would definitely want to make sure of that with them.
We have to communicate on that because that was the original basis for the pillow tax.
Right,
And
right.
frankly, we'll look into it, but so I thought that when you were referring to that, you were referring to the monies transferred to you guys that in turn is specifically allocated to tourism-related activities.
Right, right, yes. No, the $50,000 line item is from the assessment,
But if
not
that
from
was
the pillow
changed by
tax.
subsequent administration, we may want to know that.
Right, right. It might have been changed during the Christie years, I'm not
But
sure.
that was the original, in other words, I remember when I was council president, that was brought before us.
Right.
Because we had to sign on as participants, and again, it was Governor Corzine at that time. But the tax that was allocated was a pass-through tax from the customer to the hotel, to the state, back to the municipality for use for tourism offices.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I
we
just
should
wanted to
definitely
make sure
communicate
we're on the
with
same
that.
page with that. See, if maybe that was changed because I was not aware that there was any such change. Okay.
You're right, Mayor. It was 2 administrations ago, and it's quite possible that it went by way of, extraordinary aid that we used to get as well. So
I know
it's
it will.
probably a good opportunity for us to find out where and what happened.
So I'm glad you clarified it, that this is your $50,000.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, so we'll look into that.
Great. Any other questions? Great, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions by members of the council? Okay, if not, we have a resolution for approval, and there will be, if you pass the resolution, a public hearing on April 10th, 2019. So there is a motion for adoption of Resolution 1970, approving the projected 2019 budget of the Special Improvement District as summarized by Mr. Scavo. Councilman Ziffridge. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, public hearing will be on April 10th, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. So I've already asked for public comments on the agenda. They're working on minutes and reports. Motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of 2/27/19. Second.
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? Motion to approve the workshop minutes of March 6, 2018. Motion? Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. I hear you. Okay, next we have ordinances, which is ordinance 2019-09, an ordinance designating a portion of Emmanuel Court as a pedestrian mall pursuant to NJSA 4056-69, which is a joint partnership between the borough, property owners, and River Center for Emmanuel Court to designate that as a pedestrian mall. Any members of the public wish to be heard on this ordinance? Seeing none, is there a motion to close? Second. Motion to adopt ordinance 2019-09. Second. Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Councilman Yassin? Councilwoman Trigiano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballard?
Yes.
Councilman Yangstrom?
Yes.
Councilman Ziffridge?
Yes.
Councilwoman Ward?
Yes.
Okay, the ordinance is adopted, will be published and implemented. Thank you, Mr. Scavone, and members of the River Center Board and the property owners. I think it's an extraordinary opportunity for Red Bank to reclaim some public space for a good purpose, instead of illegal parking for driving vehicles for quick shops. What's that? Yeah, I'm going to. With respect to resolutions, we have a number of resolutions. I've taken a look at them. I see no reason why resolutions 1960, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, and 66 be adopted by consent. Is there any objection to the consent?
No.
Okay, motion to adopt those resolutions en masse.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? I'm sorry?
Like I said,
Aye, okay. We go to resolution 1967, a resolution designating a redeveloper for property commonly known as Block 3, lots 2.01, 4.016, and 9.01 on the tax map of the borough of Red Bank, and authorizing the execution of a redeveloper's agreement with respect to same. We have Mr. Baumann here this evening. Is there a motion on the resolution?
so moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution's adopted. Resolution 19-68, approving an amendment to the proposed settlement agreement with the Fair Share Housing Center regarding the borough's pending declaratory judgment action in the Superior Court, as reviewed by us at workshop. And we do have our special counsel and redevelopment attorney, as well as COA attorney, Mr. Baumann, here this evening. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution 1968?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 1968 is adopted. I thank you, Mr. Baumann, and I thank your firm, Ms. London, and been doing an extraordinary amount of work and positive work for the borough.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. Resolution 1969 to adopt the investigation report regarding an affirmative action complaint filed on October 12, 2018. Motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolution is adopted. Resolution 1971 amending the 2019 temporary appropriations. Motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any comments by mayor and council at this time, since we have two sick members of the council, especially one from the hospital? Will permit Councilman Ballard to speak first if he wishes, or save his breath.
I have no report there. Sorry, I'm missing the meeting now.
Thank you so much. Councilman Ziprich.
Yeah, so the senior center board meeting was postponed this week, and the seniors will be receiving a visit from Assemblywoman Joanne Downey. Will be part of the Women's History Month presentation at the senior center. We are in the process, Jackie and myself, establishing a greater rapport for the senior center with our two performing arts theaters in town to avail the senior center of additional access to performances, and we'll give updates as that comes together. I wanted to thank River Center for their ratifying their budget in 2019. As Jim mentioned, it's only a $6,000 increase for the entire city over so many years of zero increases. This budget is still lower than it was in 2008. So a big thank you to Jim, Steve, and Robin Fitzmaurice and the entire finance committee at River Center for cobbling that together. River Center also held an emergency meeting this morning to discuss the final adoption to the budget for the White Street English Plaza Rehabilitation Project. The board unanimously agreed that to fund the final addition to the budget of $182,000 for the project, which will go out to bid as soon as the borough attorney and the board attorney finalize the loan agreement. We're hoping that will be next week. Restaurant week ends tomorrow, Thursday the 14th. So please take advantage of the great price fixed dinners that are going on by participating restaurants. You can check those out at redbank.org. And wedding work will be held on March 24th, starting at 10 a.m. at the Oyster Point Hotel. You can also get the specifics at redbank.org for registration info and the like. And I wanted to give a shout out to DPU Supervisor Bobby Holliday, who's working on some additional graphics to enhance Johnny J.S. Park. We hope that the Parks and Rec Department will hold a rededication of the park once the weather improves this spring, and Bobby finalizes the graphics, which will be installed to complement the new Johnny J.S. sign and the electronic information sign in the park. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no report.
Thank you. Awesome.
Nothing to report.
Thank you. Eric.
Thank you, Mayor.
We're all saving our voice.
The egg hunt is going to take place on April 13th at 2 p.m. at Count Basie Park. Couch to 5K classes for adults will begin Wednesday, March 27th, with classes begin on Monday and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. And thank you to Kimley Horn and all involved in the Marine Park Concept Plan, which was shown at the workshop meeting last Wednesday. So, thank you.
Eric, I have to tell you, I've had people who used to be Red Bank residents and are now living hundreds of miles away, who were raised and brought up in Red Bank. Well, some of them even work for the borough, and some of them are even related to them that work for the borough. When they saw the plans on Red Bank Green and TAP, they were absolutely overjoyed. So the consensus is, it took us, you know, what I heard repeatedly is the phrase, it took you guys a long time to get there, but you got there, and now you've got the right feel. So we didn't rush into things, we did it right. And some of them said that when they worked on the park, 25 years ago, it was a different age, it was a different concept, and in looking back, they said, we did it wrong, Dick, because we wanted to just rush and put something in. So, to the entire committee and everybody who worked out, especially Charlie, just great job. Kate?
All right, for the Environmental Commission, with the support of the DPU, we're proud to partner with the Red Bank Library to host a townwide cleanup on Saturday, April 27th from 8:45 a.m. to noon. All volunteers will meet at the Red Bank Library and then be sent out in teams to the following approved sites: the Ravine by Welsh Farms, Locust Avenue in the area of Bellhaven Nature Preserve, Drs. James Parker Boulevard across from Johnny Jazz Park, Shrewsbury Avenue in the area of T. Thomas Fortune House, and the area near Juanito's Restaurant leading to the train station parking lot. These sites were identified as areas with excessive amounts of litter. We look forward to tackling that. Special thank you to Fairhaven Hardware for once again sponsoring and donating gloves and trash bags for our cleanup. Always stay up to date with RBEC news and events online through our Facebook page, Red Bank Environmental Commission. There's no report for the fire department. For the police department, just a quick story. Myself and the chief received a note of appreciation today from a Red Bank resident thanking Sergeant Hicks for helping their 91-year-old mother today at Rite Aid when her scooter broke down. Sergeant Hicks was on his lunch break. It's important to celebrate these small acts of kindness, and I wanted to recognize Sergeant Hicks for the kindness and professionalism that he has shown. And lastly, I wanted to recognize Women's History Month. If it weren't for the women that fought through history, myself and Councilwoman Horgan would not be able to sit up here today and serve in office. So thank you to Councilwoman Horgan for always lifting me up and showing me the ropes. And thank you to the exceptional women in our fire and police departments who serve our town so well every day. Thank you.
I think we should have a reunion of all the living women members of the Red Bank Borough Council some evening, and we should have a little get-together and thank you for these trailblazers, because some of them are still with us, and we owe them all a thanks. So maybe you can coordinate that, Kate?
Absolutely, Mayor.
Okay, nothing further. Discussion and actions. We have the list of public events. Any objection to considering all of them en masse? They're all subject to the Special Events Committee. Okay. Motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
I'm going to abstain on Article 5.
Is that the impeachment article?
No, it's mutual defense.
Yeah, that's the count basis, no problem. Okay, so approved. Any members of the public have any issues or questions as part of public comments that's not contained on the agenda or was contained on the agenda? Now's your time to comment. Okay, seeing none? We have a need for an executive session this evening. Pardon me? Yeah, we do.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? All right. So on the executive session, and we have the resolution on that. So the resolution will be on personnel matters and only. That's the only limit of discussion. That's all. And also on, there's an issue that's arisen with respect to a litigation matter on a tax appeal. So we will be discussing that, but no formal action will be taken. So we will be coming back into close the meeting, and that's about it. So I want to thank you all for coming. Motion to adjourn to executive session. Second? All in favor?